Welcome to the Southern Ohio Museum and Cultural Center. My name is Emily Uldrich and I'm the educator here. I would like to thank all of our sponsors, the Scioto Foundation, the Ohio Arts Council, the National Endowment for the Arts, Southern Ohio Medical Center here in Portsmouth, the Richard D. Martins Foundation, and then also the City of Portsmouth. So when you're creating and building your composition, it's important to think about the viewer's perspective. So that is where we are going to be using our frame. So the frame, much like the frame on a picture, is used to control the viewer's perspective. So we can think about, as the viewer is looking at this painting, are they looking at the frame face on at eye level? Are they looking at it from above, from an aerial perspective, like a bird's eye view? Or is the person crouching and looking up from a low space into the perspective that you're presenting through the window of your frame? So when we start building the composition, especially in the composition game, it's really a lot easier to start with the background. So I think we want to talk a little bit about what the background is in a painting. So for that, we're going to be looking at Clarence Carter's Villa by the Sea. In Villa by the Sea, you can see that there is a foreground here, which is the closest part to the viewer. In the foreground, we have this lovely tiled floor, and we have a large ovoid transparent shape right close to us in the foreground. And then we have a middle ground. You can see the middle ground here is these archways, the architecture that Clarence Carter has created, and then the background of the picture is the most distant point from the viewer. So the background in this composition, you can see there is a seascape. So there's a line of green on the coast, and then you can see the water in a line of blue behind it in the very distant background. And at the farthest point in the background, we call that the horizon line. So here Clarence Carter has placed that horizon line along the blue of the sea. So if we're looking at a foreground and background in a portrait, we can use Earthbound for an example. Earthbound is technically not quite a portrait because this is a painting of a mannequin, but the mannequin has a face and you can see elements of a portrait in this composition. So you can see here in the foreground of a portrait is usually the person that you're painting, and then the background of a portrait has a lot of different options. So here you can see in the very background of this, there's a very stormy, brooding sky behind our mannequin, and that is the background of this portrait. But in portraiture, you can use all kinds of different things from backgrounds. You can use a landscape for a background, you could use a pattern for a background, you could even use what we call negative space, which is just blank page around your central figure in your portrait as the background.